For India payroll implementations, use flexible benefit plans to allow employees to adjust how their compensation is distributed. For example, an employee can choose how much of their compensation goes to base salary, housing, and phone allowances to maximize their tax savings. This video shows you how to create a flexible benefit plan. Before you start, ensure these prerequisites are complete. All payroll elements used in the plan must be created. The periodicity for each element used in the plan must be either a calendar month or annually. Any salary basis you want to use with the plan must be created. The frequency of the salary basis must match that of the elements, either monthly or annually. Optionally, create a global eligibility profile to determine which employees are eligible for the plan. The implementation is straightforward. First, you'll create a calculation card for your plan. You may create multiple calculation cards for different subsets of employees. For example, you might have a monthly calculation card for monthly payroll elements and an annual calculation card for annual payroll elements. You might have separate cards for executives, managers, and individual contributors. This video will show a very simple annual card, but the steps are similar in all cases. Next, you'll run a process that applies the card to eligible employees. Third, you'll set profile options to make the cards available in self-service for the affected employees to enter their contributions. Finally, you'll verify the results. Let's get started. We start signed into the application as an administrator with the Manage Payroll Calculation Cards duty role. For example, the predefined Payroll Setup Administrator role includes this duty role. Navigate to the Workforce Deployment offering and in the Legal Structures functional area, select the Legal Entity Calculation Cards task. Be sure you set the scope to your legal entity for India. In our environment, it's India Legal Entity. Set the effective as of date and create a new flexible benefit plan. In the Plan Details section, set the frequency. Recall this frequency must match the periodicity of all payroll elements you intend to use, as well as the frequency of any salary basis you'll use with this plan. Set the effective date, and optionally, you can select the salary basis type to further restrict which salary bases can be used with this card. Add a global eligibility profile to restrict which employees are eligible for this plan. For the components, you need to include all of the payroll elements that you will include in the plan, plus a balancing component to ensure your flexible benefit total remains balanced, a fixed total component, and a flexible total component so employees can see their fixed and flexible totals. Finally, you need to include a total compensation component. To save time, we'll fill out the first two rows and then skip to the completed table. Be aware that if you try to use a payroll element that doesn't have the appropriate periodicity, you'll receive a warning so you can make corrections before completing the card. The component name is the value shown to employees. And the component type determines how the component will be used in the card. For example, is it total salary, a fixed percentage of total salary, a flexible amount, or so forth? Be sure to check the check mark as you fill out each row. Otherwise, you'll lose your entries. If you scroll to the right, notice that you can associate a calculation formula or eligibility profile with individual components. To summarize the plan we've created, total AGP is the employee's total salary. 60% of that is fixed as basic salary. The remaining flexible amount is divided between housing, internet, and the special allowance, which is the balancing total for the unused funds. Then we have the required overall fixed and flexible salary components for reporting to users. Submit the plan and you're ready to proceed. Your next step is to run the payroll process to apply the card to your eligible employees. Navigate to the Payroll Flow page and select your legislative data group for India. Start a Run India Flexible Benefit Plan process for employee flow. Provide the flow with a name, schedule, and effective date. You run it in Validate mode to verify your settings are correct, and once they are correct, run it in Commit mode to commit your changes. To save time, we'll show only the commit run. Although the rest of the parameters are listed as optional, you must set the payroll relationship group. For this demonstration, we'll select a single employee. Submit the process, wait for it to complete, and if there are any messages, review the logs. One employee was successfully processed, and there are no messages, so we're fairly sure that the process succeeded. You can also check the BI Publisher reports for the process. At this point, you could manage the card as an administrator, but you want to make it available to your employees. This involves setting or checking 4 profile options. The first allows users to make updates to the plan. You'll want to create a user-level profile option for each user that will use the plan. The second determines the number of days they'll be allowed to make updates after they receive the plan. If you leave it blank, there's no limit. The third specifies which payroll object groups allow updates. You'll need to add a site-level value for any object groups you plan to use. And the fourth determines whether salary updates affect the plan. Finally, test the plan by signing in as an enrolled employee. Change flexible amounts and verify that the other flexible amounts adjust accordingly. Once you've finished making your modifications, submit your changes. You've successfully implemented a flexible benefits plan for India. Thanks for watching!